I can never get over that music, Granny. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I got my right hands on today, so I've been learning something. So,
hello, Octo.
Episode 10 of the Worst Reselling Podcast Ever. Well, the original Worst Reselling Podcast. I just lost my
Yes, we are the original Worst Selling Podcast. Thank you, Harry Tornado.
We did have a run-in with Mr. Harry Tornado earlier in the week, and obviously he's gone back to his little Goodwill cave for another 12 months by the looks of it. So,
and I have the proof. The proof is on Instagram, where he admitted that we are indeed the Worst Reselling Podcast.
I don't know if that's
we won.
I don't know if that's a trophy that we want to be proud of.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a bit, but it was good. Yeah, like I said, I don't think he did it intentional because he's just using keywords. But we'll take it.
Yeah. Well, hey, it was a good opportunity, and I got to have a little chat with Harry Tornado, so that was good.
Right. Well, that's right. That's not many people have said that they've gone after the Harry Josh variant, but hey,
that's right.
Exactly right.
That's right.
An old lady took on one of the biggest YouTube resellers currently running around, and he ran away. So
I should have made a video about it, shouldn't I?
Well, yeah, you can probably do that next time.
Yeah.
So what's new, Granny? What's new this week?
Look, did you notice this? My map.
Oh, I think you just scratched it off.
No, I haven't scratched it. I've only just put it up, so I have to start scratching off the countries that I've sent things to. And so this week, when I will find the thing that you're supposed to scratch it off with. But yes, I'm sending a book to Switzerland tomorrow.
Okay. So what's the red things in the middle near? Is it near Alaska? I don't know. Greenland, or I'm not too sure with my geography. We've already worked with that.
I think you must be colorblind. There's no red bits on there.
Oh, it might be just a reflection on the camera.
I think so. Yes, it's a reflection of the octopus.
No, it is. I can actually see it now. I was thinking, is that how you determine which country you're sending to or not?
I'm just working out where he is. So the octopus at the moment is in Iceland.
That's right. Well, like I said, I do enjoy the ice.
Yes.
I've been driven out of Loch Ness and I've been driven out of the Bermuda Triangle, so Iceland seems like the place to be.
Oh, so your tentacles go okay in the ice when they're frozen?
There's no ice in Iceland. It's green. It's ice in Greenland.
Yeah, true.
Whoever named these places don't know what's going on. They're on the same wavelength of geography as I am.
Yeah, I'm hopeless at geography. Absolutely hopeless.
Yeah, so anyway, but what else has been new, Granny, other than your shiny new map?
Well, just, finding lots of good jeans and new brands that I didn't know, and they've turned out to be very good, like Italian Star. They're excellent jeans to pick up, so that was a bit of fun. What else is new? I did my first live stream.
Oh, yes.
Since we had the last podcast. Yeah. Went very well.
That's wonder you had any voice left.
Wonder I had any what, sorry?
Any voice left.
Well, yeah, because, John the reseller, when he does it, he, talks for 10, 15 minutes and then everyone's quiet for 30 minutes. But, I talked for 4 hours straight.
That's why I like John the reseller. He's a bit of a dictator after my own heart. He demands silence in his presence. So, I'm actually quite impressed.
It was good fun, and I think I will do some more lives, and because people like to chat, and I think I quite enjoy talking to myself. So why not? Yeah, well that's right. Yeah, you do like the sound of your own voice. I do indeed. And what about you, Octo? What's new in your world?
Been a bit of listing, been a bit of sourcing, stealing other people's YouTube channel ideas. It's just the day in the life of an octopus. We've had a bit of engagement regarding the last episode when we had Uncle Wayno on. I suppose his stance towards Q4 and all those different things, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about today. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet. Like I mentioned earlier in our accountability hour, I've had 3 Veros in a week, so that's always a thing. So
that wouldn't be doing much for the traffic in your store, I wouldn't imagine.
It doesn't seem to affect it, to the truth. Normally, you have eBay interfere in any capacity. Yes, your traffic goes down, but it doesn't seem to affect it from an INAD perspective. Oh, sorry, a Vero perspective.
That's good. You're lucky. I think you've escaped by the skin of your teeth.
Well, that's right. My barnacles have got away with this. The skin of my tentacles.
Yeah.
But
so.
Not much is going on. But it's been pretty quiet. Like we were speaking last week, as we're trying to ramp up for Q4 around here. Get all those things ready for listing and all those different things and sourcing. We'll talk a little bit more about Q4 today as well. Like what I suppose we've heard what Wayno does.
Yes, we
have. Focus on what Granny and I do from that perspective. Yeah, this is your first Q4 though, isn't it, Granny?
Yeah, I mean, I was around for Q4 last year, but I'd really just started, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just still finding my feet reselling, I suppose. So it wasn't sort of on my radar last year. But this year it is indeed.
But I suppose before we get into the crux of, and we're going to probably start our topic a little bit earlier than the 45-minute mark out of an hour podcast. But so what's been grinding your gears this week?
Grinding my gears this week. I've had a couple of grinding my gears this week. Look, eBay's system is really glitchy at the moment, really glitchy, and it's annoying the kajeebas out of me because they keep introducing new things, right? But they're not fixing the things that aren't working. Like I tried to do a newsletter last night and it wouldn't work. And, even to the point of like yesterday I received an offer for a pair of jeans, it was a hat, actually, an offer for a hat, which was shortly thereafter retracted. The person retracted their offer, and that's fine and well. And about 5 minutes after that, a notification came across my screen for the hat, for an offer on the hat. And I thought, they've sent through another offer. But it wasn't. It was actually the original offer. 5 minutes after they'd retracted it. So, yeah.
And like for that, like, so basically, I was listening to Pure Hustle podcast on Monday. Tuesday our time, sorry. The Monday mini episode. And they were talking, I can't remember if it was Orlando or Mike that brought it up, but when eBay fixes something, because of their systems that they're running on is so antiquated, when they fix something up, something else breaks and falls over because there's that flow-on effect. And maybe that's what's going on at the moment, is that there's all these little moving parts that are probably 20 years past their use-by date. So whenever they bring up a new update, it's smashing 17 things out of line, which is causing all these issues.
Yeah.
Even now, from a notification point of view, I take care of my notifications pretty much straight away when I see them, either from my phone or the computer. Then they hover around. So I'm not too sure if that's a new notification or I've replied to messages and they're still coming up as unread and all these different things. So it's definitely, and YouTube resellers and resellers in general say it every year, is that eBay needs to leave eBay alone around the Q4 period.
Yes, definitely.
Roll out, say, hey, look, we're going to roll out instant payment. We're going to roll out all these different things we've been promising for the last 18 years. In January to August timeframe next year.
Yes.
Like just give us a definitive time out of Q4. Like they can just focus on that ground, or even roll it out in the Americans or the Northern Hemisphere summer. If that's a quiet period for that over there, roll it out then.
Yeah. Oh, I quite agree. And I just think the fact that of how, quite often you'll click on a page and it'll come up with, sorry, we can't find that page, and then you have to refresh and there it is. And it's just being very, very glitchy, and it just doesn't give you that faith in it that it's going to keep standing there. But I think things like the newsletter, there's that push by eBay encouraging us to utilize things like that and be a bit more social. But then when you go to use it, you can't, and I had spent, I probably had spent a good 15, 20 minutes writing up the little spiel that I was putting in and all about all the new stuff that I was getting in and what sort of things they can expect to see coming up in the store. Well, that time was completely wasted.
Yeah, and I think, before I got into the world domination business, I was working for, a defense department, right? I won't say which one. You can probably work it out. And the person in charge of this defense department was basically saying, hey, all right, this is what I want done. This is what I expect. So basically give this whole range of, directives as what the defense department was moving in, which, all these different ways that they want to move forward and, meet the capability and all the different requirements, all those different things. So hypothetically, this directive would have cost $1 million, right? So our budget was $50,000. So yeah, they want $1 million worth of work for $50,000.
Yeah,
and maybe that's what's happening at eBay at the moment. The CEOs jumping up and down saying, "All right, I want to be the best platform that we can be. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want instant payments. I'm listening to these people. I want this. I want this. I want this." But you need to, it's going to cost $5 million to roll out all these updates and have everything fixed. But they've given your budget's $5,000. So it's not manageable, or it's not realistic in expectations to fix the problems. Like you said, it's a kind of a case of that. These things are happening and constantly being reported, and it's the issues are being reported to offshore call center.
Yes.
I didn't want to know. But is that feedback being pushed through back? Because obviously I did say that being in Australia, we deal with the Philippines, which is all the people that I've dealt with, dealt through the chat and on the phone have been lovely. I've got nothing against them, but then more often than not, I would assume that they're a private contracted company, right? So they're probably a privately contracted telemarketing company. That gets told, all right, this is your left and right of arc. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Go away. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Any feedback that they have from us as resellers, or people who use eBay from a buyer's or a seller's perspective, probably is not going to be pushed further than their line supervisor, because you don't really want to rattle the cage, then annoy eBay, and eBay's like, well, your contract's terminated. We'll go to the next person. So this information flows a one-way street, opposed to being brought back up to where it needs to be. So
and I think if people don't, I think people do need to get on and report it, because as with the issue that I had last time with the end and relist that I couldn't do, end and sell similar, I couldn't do that. That was a glitch, and like no one that I spoke to that I knew of on the Australian platform had seen that problem. I later on found out that quite a few in the Americans had the same problem. And when I spoke to eBay, they said, "Oh no, you're the only person with that problem." And then he did say probably in our other areas people might have it. Well, it was fixed like within 4 or 5 days. Now, if it had been just me, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been fixed that quickly. But I think when more people report those sort of issues, and like the newsletter, which I'll get on and do today, I'll report that today. If people don't get on and report it, it'll stay unfixed. Whereas if the more people that report it, the more chance you've got of getting them fixed.
Well, and that's exactly right. And then I suppose there's a good segue into Q4, is that this is the time of the year you want to have everything, your ducks in a row, right? Like you want to have everything sorted. So, if you do come across an issue that's prohibiting using the system as you need to use it, you need to report these things. You need to bring it to their attention, because if you're just leaving it to someone else to do, like you said, you might be the only person in Australia or in the world that's affected by this glitch, because you updated a graphics driver, you might have updated some random thing on your computer which is glitched with eBay, and all these different things. Because you really need to have your eyes on the prize in Q4. You really want to be capitalizing on every spare moment you do have to do listings, to get your sales through, and have every opportunity to do your sales, because there's no use not doing it, waiting for someone else to do it, then going on a Facebook group, wasting best part of a day whinging and carrying on about it. That for something you could have just jumped on the chat and say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm experiencing. Can you tell me what's going on?" We haven't done that, but if you use Safari or use Chrome or use something else, try something else. Be different. I know you did do that, but
I had done all that before I even reported it. Like, there's not much point if it's just happening on one computer, but it was happening on a Mac and a PC for me, so I knew that it wasn't that. I knew that it was the platform itself. So, I think it's important to do all those normal little checks first, to make sure it isn't just your computer, and then once you're sure that it's not, then get on and report it.
Well, that's exactly right. And just to reiterate that point, is that you need to be proactive. Like, Q4, and like we're going to discuss and probably delve a little heavier later in the episode, comes around once a year, right? Like, a lot of the other people will say that Q4 is where a lot of the businesses make their profit for the year, a lot of their revenue. And what we're discussing before we went live is that Q4 I normally double my 90-day total. So why would you want to risk that opportunity? To capitalize and to maximize sales, or maximize your advantages through that period, because you can't be bothered submitting a work request for 5 minutes. You're more than happy to go on, social media or Instagram or Facebook and bitch and carry on for a best part of a day. That blows my tentacles, Granny.
And look, and no good whinging about it to people that can't do anything about it. Get onto eBay and whinge. Well, I'm not going to say whinge to them, because quite honestly, when you are getting onto eBay, whether you're talking to them on the phone or you're in the chat, you'll get a lot further if you take the emotion out of it and just talk about the facts, but be nice about it. And you will find you'll get a lot further. And I think that's why I rang them twice about that problem last week. And it was on the second one I spoke to them rather than just did it in the chat. And I think that made the difference, because I actually asked the guy, I said, look, would you mind bringing up my account, your end, and actually I'll tell you exactly where I want you to go, and you tell me if you see the same thing I'm seeing. And that was when he realised what I was meaning, whereas you can't get that through to them in the chat. So, sometimes it's better to talk to them. But if you talk to them nicely and stay calm and don't get, I can't use them, come on, you won't get anywhere doing that.
I thought you had a stroke then. You're an age group. But no, that's exactly right. And that's another thing that I have an issue with. I know it's a bit of a whinge session about social media, is that I find a lot of people, that, like you said, that they go straight on the offensive when they get onto the group chat, the online chat with eBay and the phone calls, is that, that in the space of the last 6 months, I've had probably about 3 negatives and 1 neutral, right? Like, each of those negatives and neutral have been removed because I've jumped into the online chat and said, hey, hi, Grumpy Granny. It's lovely to see you today. How are you doing today? And buttering them up and, making them feel like a human. Not, obviously being superior species, I am being an octopus, and talking down to humans. But I think, if you butter them up, basically pretend that you care about them, regardless if you do or not, then just ask them how they are and tell them that, you understand that the workload they're going through. And like I touched base on before, is that these people aren't the ones that broke the system.
That's exactly right.
These people are only, minimum wage people, like probably working for minimum wage, by their standard as well. And being abused by people that, have no comprehension of what's going on in the system behind the scenes as well. So, like I said, that you'll get a lot further with being polite and courteous and straight to the point. Don't waffle on. Just ask them how they are. Hey, Granny, how are you today? Good, thank you. Hope your family's well. And by the way, this is my issue I'm having. So get straight to the point.
The other thing is, when you first go into the chat and you've got to get through the bloody robot, that grinds my gears, because that's just a load of codswallop. So I just type in, I click the whatever box I need to click to get through the first part, and then wants to know, and then it'll ask you, well, tell me about the problem. That's when I'll usually just type in, speak to somebody.
So I just type in what I want. So I'll just go feedback removal. Or like you said, technical issue or something along those lines. Just basically,
and that's what I keep saying. Technical issue. And if you don't give them any more information than that, you get through to talk to someone fairly quickly.
I've never been caught up by that chat GPT box. Like, it's never referred me. It's always said, look, we're connecting you to X person now. So I've never had, I've had to wait a couple of minutes, but that's fine. But like I said, I didn't spend that couple of minutes, because you've got a notification on your computer if you're using your computer, or Bing when they're active. So there's no reason why you can't be in the background, packing orders, or taking photographs or measuring things if that's what you do, whilst you're waiting for that ping sound. Like I said,
definitely.
It's very contrary to what Uncle Wayno was saying last week, and I love Uncle. From an octopus's perspective, is you probably want to monopolize on every spare moment you have. And like we said last week, that Wayno brought up some fantastic points of view, right? Like, not everyone has or needs to have the same outlook on eBay or reselling in general. Like, if you want to, and we had a chat with Wayno. I don't think he was entirely serious with what people construed, because we had a fair few comments of people thinking that you probably just lounge around and watch the dollars rake in. But Wayno was being a bit of a cheeky person he is, he's probably exaggerating it a little bit. But if you know what kind of lifestyle you want, what kind of financial means you need to get, to maintain that lifestyle. Or if you've got goals, just do what's comfortable for you. If you watch it on YouTube, if you watch it through, social media, all these different things about people, driving, Lamborghinis and all these different things, A, they're probably fake, or B,
Yeah.
they're probably working 23.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't try and list 3 $8 DVDs and wondering where your private jet's coming in.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Uncle Wayne is a bit like me in some aspects, like because he has got a bad back, and as I do. And, you know, hey?
I think you were talking about being old.
Oh, no. Well, he's getting on a little bit too. He's getting a bit grey in his beard, isn't it?
Yeah, he's 26. He's had a hard life, Uncle Wayne.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, it's the thing about eBay is that you can make it work for you if you have got a problem like that, because, you know, I don't take all my photos all at once. Like, you know, I might want to list 20 items, but I don't stand there and take photos of 20 items because I can't. But the beauty of this is if I was in a job and was directed to do that, I wouldn't be able to perform that job, you know. Right. Whereas with eBay, I can actually make it work for me because I can take photos of 4 or 5 things. I can go and sit down at the computer and list those things. And then I can come back and prepare the next lot and take the photos of those. So it's giving my back that little bit of space in between that I need. And if I do happen to be having a really, really bad day, which, you know, luckily for me is very rare, yeah, I can stay in bed all day if I need to. And there's other things I have to take my laptop with me. I'll get out of bed if I'm having a really, really bad day, and I'll go and get my laptop. I have been known to have my bed covered in books and jeans because I'll, you know, take a whole heap up there in my little trolley and do it while I'm lying down in bed if that's what it takes. But I can adapt it around is what I'm trying to do.
And I suppose the octopus would look at it from a different angle as well, is that, like having a bad back, like Wayno's doing.
Siri's trying to talk to me.
I was about to say, it's not the only time I've had a problem with an old person not understanding what I'm saying.
And it's all quiet, but yeah.
But what I was saying with Wayno, he's doing DVDs, right? So he's not as if he's listing weights where he needs to move 50 kilo weights around in his photos and all this things. So he's quite he knows his limitations, from a physical perspective, and he's listing, as we say. And like you said, you're focusing on jeans and books. And if you have, like an eBay is quite welcoming within that respect, because you just list as much as you want and what you could do. But you could probably take it a step further and say, hey, well, look, why don't I just focus on a niche that won't exacerbate my back at all? Because books are quite heavy. Look, like the auction professor. The auction professor sells bits of paper, and he sells it for X amount of money and all these different things. And like anything else, right? You probably out of 1,000 pieces of paper, only one's worth anything price-wise, unless you know exactly what you're looking for and how you can source from that perspective. But if you've got a physical disability, or you've got something that's limiting you from carrying heavy weights or something along lines of that, focus on a niche that is virtually weightless, or that you don't need to photograph. Like with the auction professor again, I watch because I quite enjoy his videos, is that he feeds his stuff through a scanner. So you don't need to bend over and take photos. You just basically put it through a scanner and off you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can work it around, and I think it's fantastic for that. Do you want to see what I found this week?
Well, that's right. You can show me what you found this week. You've been dying to tell me. I'm obviously not quick enough. I can't see it. My eyes are painted on. What is it? You'll have to tell me.
So this is a book, and it's called The 14 Bears, Summer and Winter. Now, there is a series of books called The 14 Bears, and they are written by Evelyn.
Can't wait.
Hey?
I said, it sounds enticing. Can't wait.
It is. So stories were written by Evelyn Scott, and this is a Golden Press edition from 1973. And
way before the octopus was born.
Yeah. But these are selling in America for around $550.
Oh, jeez.
So yes, little ripper of a book. The last one that sold on eBay Australia went for just over $100, and it was literally falling to pieces and had all taped up and everything. Yeah, and this one is in fantastic condition. So
there you go, Minions. Look out for that book and undercut Granny.
Yeah, no, don't undercut me. But yeah, it'd be nice.
So what's the allure for that book, Granny? Like, is it because of old people want nostalgia? Is that what it is?
Look, very likely. I haven't really discovered the true reason, because sometimes with these books, it's the person that actually did the illustrations, like the Holly Hobby books. It's not actually the person that wrote the books; it's the person that did the illustrations on them, and like the same with the Care Bears, because people have this whole thing about Care Bears, So these ones, but it seems to be the author seems to be attracting people to this book.
A series of book, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So
they're very scarce.
Look out for the 14 Bears.
Yeah, the 14 Bears, but they're very, very scarce. And Evelyn Scott, and I didn't have time yesterday when I listed this up. I was going to actually have a look and see if she's got other books that she has written and what they're doing, because that'll give me a bit more of an indication.
Yeah.
And it is a nice bit. I mean, it's going to have to go into a large size padded mailer to send, because
I'll be sending in a large box opposed to a padded mailer.
Well, it's not overly. One thing about it's not overly heavy. But see, I make my own cardboard sleeves that I put them in, and then that goes in the padded mailer. And my mic's about to come off the wall. So I make a cardboard sleeve for them.
So I'm not sure how Granny sends her books, but or Mel back from Burnett sends her books. But that book's quite expensive, right? So what the Octopus would do is I would get like a garbage bag or something that's quite bigger than that book. I actually cover the bag in, probably wrap it around that garbage bag, then give it a layer or two of bubble wrap, then put it into a box. Just by virtue, like you said, it was a $500 US book and all these different things. Is that you want that book arriving in the condition, because if someone's forking out, $300-400 Australian or American, they're going to want that book in pristine condition. So you kind of like want to negate as many. And if the box, if the book does rocked up, smashed and damaged and broken, all those different things, they can actively see that you've tried to circumvent every natural disaster that this thing's tried to go against. But like I said, that.
Well, I guess what I do is similar in a way, but just perhaps slightly in a different format, because so particularly with this one, because it is so expensive, so I will wrap it up in like a vinyl wrap type of thing first, so that it will be hopefully waterproof, because I'm not going to get a Ziploc bag big enough to put that one in.
Just put it in like a satchel, like just a plastic satchel, Ziploc, rip the tie off, then put it in a box or put it in a bubble wrap after that, because like you said, that you want to make it waterproof. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't think of.
Yeah, exactly. And look, anything that's sort of vintage and worth any decent money for me, I always put it in a protective cardboard sleeve that I make specifically to fit them, so that I make sure all the edges are, the cardboard's extending out, so that if it gets a bump, then the book's not going to get damaged. The cardboard will protect it. And then that goes in a bubble mailer. But it saves me having to have extra postage supplies, I suppose. I can keep the amount of types of postage items I have to a limited, and just get those ones in bulk. Yeah. So that's part of the reason I do it that way.
And before we went live as well, Granny and I were talking about we're trying to source things that are only fitting within, I suppose, packaging that we're able to get readily accessible. So in Australia, there's like different size boxes, and pre-sized boxes through Australia Post. And I'm pretty sure there's the same in the States and the UK as well. So, like personally, me, I'm trying to actively, buy products that I can just plop in a box, or just plop in a mailer or a padded envelope and send it on its way. I don't want to have to think twice about Frankensteining boxes or trying to work out what it is. Yeah, and like people say, if there's always an exception to the rule, right? If I pick up something for $5, will sell for $1,400 or $1,500. Of course, I'm going to spend the time making a box and doing all those different things. I'm not going to pass that opportunity up. But that it also comes as a sunk cost and an opportunity cost. Is that you might be able to take $10 profit on a box that, or on an item that I can just plop in a box that takes 2 seconds. Or a $15 profit item might take me 4 hours to bloody package the bloody thing.
So I've gotten to the point now. So I only stock small, medium, and large padded mailers. So everything that I sell has got to fit in those small, medium, or large padded mailers. Originally, I was also having the vinyl satchels for the clothing, because look, they're a lot cheaper. I mean, the padded mailers work out about 89 cents each. The satchels are about 6 cents, I think. With the way I was getting them, but it's all additional extra stuff, and it actually makes it take a lot longer to do your post. But doing it that way, so jeans, for example, originally I was rolling them up and squeezing them in, but a lot of them you can't fit them in the small satchel. So then you would need to have the medium satchel as well. And I would, for a lot of the denim jackets and things like that, would never fit in that small satchel. Whereas a lot of those things will actually fit in the small padded mailer.
Right. That's exactly
rather than having to go into the medium. So it benefits everyone doing it that way.
Yeah, so I exclusively use padded mailers, right? So realistically, if it's a book or it's a piece of clothing for jeans, for example, I'll use a padded mailer. It's a little bit more expensive, and but it looks more professional. So
it does.
That you're never gonna. If you put your jeans in a satchel, there's not gonna be any issues, right? So the freak of nature chance they get struck by lightning or something else that catches it and all those different things, it's just bad luck. But with that padded mailer, it gives it that little bit more protection, but it also gives you the customer being happy in spades because it looks like you've taken that extra effort to package their item as you want to do. Like Uncle Wayno and myself probably have the same problem. We just punch that shirt or that pair of jeans into it, not looking too nice into the thing, or if it fits, it ships kind of thing. Oh geez, you got your haunted house again.
Yeah, I have. I think that this must be just the tape mustn't be right just on one part of the wall, and it just is it's not coming off the other end, but it's coming off this end. So I need to put some more.
I thought it was John the Reseller
tape on there.
I think he came around for a visit with his tape.
But I mean, I also looked at it that it actually makes it quicker for me with the jeans, for example, because I have my jeans in these bags. See, that will not fit into one of those small satchels. So I would actually have to take them out and refold them in a different way to actually fit them in those. So that's all time consuming. Whereas that whole thing will fit in the small or a medium padded mailer. So I can just get it and slip it in. So you're looking at 5 seconds versus maybe taking a full minute to take it out, refold it.
That comes back to what I was saying earlier about that opportunity cost, right? Like I know Daily Refinement and Tech and Sports talk about this all the time. Like measuring yourself and timing yourself and all those different things. Like over the space of if you make 30 sales a day, that's 30 minutes you've wasted basically to package something that opposed to, like you said, 300 seconds, which is what 6 minutes in comparison. So out of that 24 minutes you had left, you could have listed things, you could have been packaging more things, and you're really funneling yourself down. And people are using just $50 to $75 an hour. That's what they're looking to make as a reseller salary. That 30 minutes is potentially $35 or $25 worth of reselling money you've lost because you want to pay the extra. If you take the 89 cents away or something along that, and you weigh it up from those different. There's a lot of calculations you need to take into consideration. But you will save yourself time and brain power because you don't. There should be just.
I mean, you got. I guess that it's one thing to weigh up. Okay, the satchels are cheaper, but productivity wise, they actually work out more expensive because of what I'm losing in my time. Whereas I can get everything packaged up, actually down to the post office and be back home in the time I would have still been folding jeans and trying to fit them in the satchels.
Well, that's exactly right. And and like I've said numerous times, if you're only starting out, quite quickly, you're just fresh to reselling, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Is that don't go out and buy 5,000 bloody padded mailers and all this. Work out what you're doing. Get yourself into a niche and just say, if you want to do jeans, for example, and you're like, well, Grumpy Granny does it this way. That's a quicker, and then you start building the niche, and then your store of 800 or 1,000 items are all jeans. Then you can, and you're making some cash flow come through. And then you could basically look at your bulk lot. So you might want to buy the small padded mailers in blocks of 1,000, which brings them down considerably cheaper than buying them individually. Then that productivity cost, versus actual item cost brings it right down as well. So you're actually making more money over the time. So, but like I said, please don't go out and buy your bulk supplies with that. Go, oh, well, I want to test selling manga, or I want to go test selling. I'm just going to go buy, 5,000 packagings for those.
No, don't.
Then you only find 6 books and you don't want to sell them anymore.
I think especially when you're first starting out, like it's a good idea because you're probably going to be you're going to test yourself on different categories too. So, I also think whilst I have made the choice to use the padded mailers for jeans, and that's how I do it, somebody else might find those the vinyl satchels a lot better. They might decide that's the way for them, but how are you going to know it if you don't try? So I would still suggest that you perhaps, go and get yourself a packet of 10 and get some padded mailers and do a bit of both till you work out which is the right way for you.
Well, that's exactly right. As much as I said earlier, you kind of take YouTubers with a grain of salt, right? But you want to try and work out, you want to fall off the back of what they've learnt as well. So you don't really want to go through that. Because, I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, if you're trying to fit in a pair of men's jeans into one of those small setups, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
I can tell you that. And you can, you get followed Granny's advice and, try it for yourself. But you're wasting time. Learn from what the resellers have learnt themselves and use that to get your leg up. You learn from it. And like we're going back to the Q4 thing, you don't have time to dick around. You don't have time to waste. You need to get, be sorted. I would even go far as to say is that if you're a new reseller, maybe sit out Q4 for your first year. Like if you've just started, if you're looking at starting now, right? I would probably start in January or something around that period when it's all slowing down, when you've actually got an opportunity to sit down and watch some videos, digest some information, make sure you want to do, look at your cash flow, look at your price, look at what you want to achieve, look at your goals. What are you doing reselling for? Is it because you've seen it on the news thinking that Lego's more valuable than gold, all these different things? You need to look from a different perspective. Get your hype up. Look at what you want to do. And take a week and reflect a week later and go, this was a spur of the moment thing. I don't really want to do that because I don't have the time. I've got 4 kids and I've got all these different things going on. I can't do reselling. But what I find is some YouTube resellers is that they're like, well, go to Bunnings and buy a local hardware store, for example. Go buy totes or go buy crates or go buy these supplies and shelves and all these different things before you even sold your first item. Where to me, you shouldn't be doing that. You like I said, that I can strongly suggest, and like I said, take YouTubers with a grain of salt. But I would not be starting, reselling from now to at least January.
It's a hard time of the year to be trying to get into something if you don't know what you're doing. That is for certain.
Dip your toe in. I'm not saying that. Don't dip your toe in. Sell a few things around the house, learn how the system works. But Q4, you find a lot of people are want things yesterday because they'll leave it till the 20th of December to buy things, and they'll want stuff for the holiday period. Then you'll be the worst person on the face of the earth for not getting it there 3 days before it was expected to arrive. So, like I said, that by all means, learn the system, learn how all it is. Engage with reseller content. Have a watch on YouTube, have a look at social media. Even if you know someone locally, have a chat to them and say, "Hey, look, what do you experience in the Q4 period?" That you'll probably find that they're nose to the grindstone, unless you're Uncle Wayno, of course. But he's going to probably stop listing right. He's probably going to stop listing right about now, wasn't he?
Probably will too.
But like I said, it's a case of that you want to probably spectate or not go as fast or as heavy as you do. If you know what you're doing, and it's hot, it's not, all these different things, you can potentially make a lot of money. There's no disputing that, right? But on the flip side is you could lose infinite amount of money as well. Like you could sink yourself. So you don't want to be forking out more than your means. Don't get credit card debt. Don't do all these different things. Just by virtue of just trying to think, well, I can make a quick buck. If I take this out, I can have it paid off by next month. Then I'm, home and hose with 20 grand profit or something.
But a beginner reseller that suddenly has, 36 orders to do in one day, and doesn't know what garment's going to fit into. Just for example, let's look at toys. Like someone that looks at the toys and thinks, Q4, because with Christmas coming up, going to resell toys, and they're all different size boxes and shapes and things, and then suddenly realize they've been down, they've bought a box of 100 small padded mailers. But then they found that half the stuff they've got to ship, and it's got to be shipped out that day, doesn't fit in those padded mailers. So they've then got to go to the post office and buy them in the next size, or maybe in the next size up again as well, and you're going to get yourself into all sorts of strife because when you're first starting out, those getting 36 on one day is a big task.
That's exactly right. And I suppose from my angle, I'm looking at from people that are brand new to the eBay platform from another perspective, is that like Grumpy Granny was saying, if you do get those, and it's quite possible, I'm not saying that that's not going to happen because Q4 is like the crazy time of the year, so anything's possible, but you normally have selling limits right at the start, right? If you're opening a brand new account. So you might be able to list 20 items. So you just went and spent $20,000 on credit card debt, but you're only physically able to list $500 and 20 items for a month. So not only have you shot yourself in the foot from that perspective, but you do sell your 20 items and your $500, but eBay will potentially lock your funds for up to a month.
They do.
All those different things. I've experienced on accounts that I've created after having accounts for 12 years. So this is not exclusive to new people. But if you've got an established account, you can reach out to customer service and they can link it to that, and they'll up your limits, not to the point where it's before, but what you want to do is you want to have a look from that perspective and go from that way. But like I said, that you probably want to grow slowly, and Q4 will give you a fake report.
Yes.
So it's basically going to give you everything's sunshine and rainbows. But when the slower period rolls around from probably March, April till about August, would you say, Granny, from what you've experienced?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
Things die off. Like you're potentially doing maybe twice or three times less than what you're doing through Q4.
Yes.
And if you've got an expectation that you're going to be doing $50,000 every 30 days in Q4, which is quite realistic. That I'm not disputing that, but that's sales, not profit. But when you get to the slow period and you've quit your job because you've seen other YouTubers quit jobs, that they're all doing all these different things, then you get down to the point where you're doing $1,700 of sales a month, all these different things. So these are the things you need to take into consideration. And that's why I strongly suggest, and I know I've got a little rant, but hey, being called the disgruntled octopus, you can do this, is that you need to focus from the start of the year. Don't get dragged into the YouTubers, how to sell in 2023, 2024, all these different things. Don't get sucked into the news cycle. If you know how to sell women's jeans, or you've got a fascination with ladies' high heels, or whatever floats your boat, and you know that product back to front, if you're a collector, which is a fantastic way of getting into reselling, if you know how things you want them to be presented to you, is that if you're able to do that, replicate that from a seller's perspective, you'll go pretty far. But start that when it's slow, so you know what to realistically expect, because by the time you get around to September, October of that year, if you're starting in January, you're going to be all over it. You'll know, hopefully have all your sourcing opportunities down pat. You know what's selling, what's not selling. The posting system, how quickly things get to there, where the bottlenecks are, how to package into small satchels, like Granny was saying. All these things, you've got under your belt. You've got the experience of 9 months. Then, you'll smash it out of the park. But, you find a lot of people, they come into the reselling around that Q4 period. They think it's all, like I said, sunshine and rainbow. Then by February, March the following year, they've disappeared because they didn't realize how hard it was, or that it's not as profitable or as money driven as it is. They just expect that Q4 sales come all around. And like the end of January, end of February, things start dying off, and the cycle repeats.
No, good advice, Octo, I think, because it's one of those things. And even for resellers that have probably been doing it, I'm not going to say a long time, I'm going to say, you might be someone that's gotten very disgruntled with reselling on eBay, because you felt that over the last few months your sales have gone down. Well, it's just a time of the year, so you need to realize that, and think about, do you want to keep doing it? And if you do, we'll just plot on, just keep going and plow through. But be prepared. For Q4.
That's right. And I suppose it triggered me as well, is that that in a similar vein to what Wayne was saying last week, you can go against the grain. Like if you need to go back to work, to a full-time job because reselling is not for you, because you've been romanticized about all these people quitting full-time work and going to all these different things. Take no shame in that. You need to do what's best for you and your family, for your mental health. There's no use trying to feed a family of 8 on $30 a day, because that's all you can sell reselling, because you can't access anything because you're in the middle of nowhere, or your supply chains are compacted, or eBay just bans your account for no legitimate reason. So I think a lot of other resellers, especially Diary of a Flipper and 2 Aussie Flippers and all those people, they talk about diversification of income, right? Like, just don't have that one channel of income coming through. If you can work out multiple sources of income, like you might have a side hustle to your side hustle. Like you do your full-time job, your side hustle, and something else you want to generate money. And by all means, if it gets to the point where eBay or a reselling platform is outstripping your daily job or your full-time position, by all means do it, but don't close off that. See if you can,
Yes.
maybe do part-time hours, or do something that you've still got your foot in the door. So if something goes wrong, you can flip around.
Yep.
So I think that's worth.
There's plenty of resellers out there too that do very well just as a part-time side hustle, and it's in addition to the family budget, so they can go on holidays, or they might be saving to try and pay off their mortgage years earlier. Just because you see people doing it full time doesn't mean that you have to do it full time.
That's right.
And that's not trying to talk people out of it, but I mean, I got thrown in the deep end to do full-time right from the get-go. And that's not the normal way people get into it. And, I guess it's an opportunity out there for people like myself that do suddenly find themselves, in a situation where they've got no job, they've got no, way of earning a living in the normal sense. It is a great opportunity. But a lot of people just, as I said, just do it as a side hustle. So consider whether, if you're considering going full-time, have a think about that. Do you really want to do it full-time? Are you willing to put in the hours that it's going to take to do full-time? Or are you better off spending a little bit less time doing it, but just having it as a good side hustle with that extra income coming in?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Yeah, it's like you don't want to take this decision lightly. That obviously that you need to weigh up what your circumstances are, and lifestyle. Was his life of a reseller? Blake, we've had on here previously. He's just released a video. It's that he was talking about the pros and cons of going full time versus part time, and you really need to know your figures, right? So you can't just go, well, I'm selling $1,000 worth of product today. Fantastic, but that might be $30 profit after all said and done, and the cost of goods and all these different things. Is that you really need to take a good hard look at all these different things. Get an accountant. All these different things that you don't necessarily need to do working for a corporate office. All those different things. Like where your tax is taken care of naturally, and all these different things. You have to look at all these different things. But I would, and we will talk in a future episode about part-time versus full-time. I've got a couple of hostages that I'm in the process of trying to kidnap at the moment to discuss that very topic. But like I said, there's a lot of things, but it always goes back to Q4. Is that like people romanticize about Q4 because they see the Christmas rush, they see the holidays, because you've got Halloween, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Christmas, you've got New Year's, all bunched into a very close period of time at the end of the year. And whilst we don't celebrate really Halloween as much as, to my dismay, in Australia, or Thanksgiving, but you should be selling to the international market. If you've got something in Australia that you can export to the US or to the UK or to any other country in the earth, that that is plentiful here, but you can't get it in the States, or you can't get it in the UK, or you can't get it in Europe, you should be capitalizing on that. But you need to sell internationally. You need to know how to sell internationally. You need to know how to ship internationally. You need to know how to ship locally. So there's no going, oh my God, I can make $1 squillion off these 10 things I found in the clearance aisle. But if you have no idea how to sell them, or you don't know how to, they could be on the Vero list, as I found out.
Well, that's right. They could.
They could be anything. So you got to be very careful.
And look, a perfect example of that is another book that I came across, because I'm actually going through piles of kids' books at the moment, and I did come across a kids' book, and it was all about skeletons of insects, right? So, and the reason it was actually a popular book, it's a vintage book, is because of the diagram. So it's the illustrator that people were quite interested in. Now, there was one listed on eBay in Australia for $20, which had been sitting there, but yet they were selling like crazy over in America for $50, $60. So why hadn't that one sold? That one had not sold because I went in and checked just out of curiosity, because they didn't have international shipping.
That's right. Yeah.
So if they'd had international shipping, that one would have sold just like that.
Yeah. So, a bit of an octo tip from an Australian seller's perspective, right? So the Australian dollar is very low against the US dollar and against the UK dollar at the moment, right? So shipping to America, to Europe, and to the UK is quite beneficial to our customers at the moment, because where we might see a $40 charge, they might see $22 or $24 US, or they might see £20 or something along that, which makes that more appetizing, then if the dollar was parity, so if it was a $40 shipping charge, I'd probably say, well, I'm not going to pass. I'll pass on that. But if they're really after something that you can supply, and like Granny was saying, it's in short supply, and obviously there's the market's there for it. Yeah, you really want to learn how to do the basics, and it goes back to learning the basics. And like I said, it goes back around to learning the basics in the quiet period. Don't.
And in essence, that particular book that I was talking about, like I could list that for $40, which is double the price the other one was listed for, and then charge that. Which I think for that one would have been about $25 to get it to the US. And, that would seem a lot of money, but to the American that wants to buy it, someone in the US that wants to buy it, by the time it's all converted down, it's a lot. It would still be cheaper for them to buy my book than it would be to buy one that's for sale in the US.
Well, that's right. And like Granny was saying with this skeleton book, if it's been sitting on for a while, that seller's probably motivated to sell it. So if that book is your condition or better, you could quickly liquidate your book. So, like you said, that you could sell it to the US, and then someone in the US or the UK buys it quite quickly and, goes on that way. You can approach the seller and say, hey, look, I know you've had this book sitting for a while. You got it for $20 plus post. Would you take $10 plus post? So then you've basically grabbed that book for, $15, $20. Then you can flip it for another $40. So you're making, it's not huge profit margins by any means, but you've got the listing already done. You just need to take a couple more photos if it's in worse condition. Sell similar and off it goes. You've pretty much you've restocked yourself. So it comes down to cost of goods being a lot higher, but you've already done the work on the back end. So you could just put the satchel size, how it ships, where it's going, all those different things, your keywords. Why not do it that way? A lot of people use eBay to eBay arbitrage, where they buy something on eBay cheap because people don't know what it is, then or they don't know how to sell it, and then they buy it, then triple the price. So
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So what are you organising as far as your mail supplies for Q4, Octo?
See, it's one of those things is practice what you preach. Realistically, I need to stop being slack about it, right? So I need to order in, like I said, the box sizes that I order in, and also bubble mailers that I order in as well. So I use a local company here in Sydney, but I have a special colour that I get from them, from Marketing Choice, and it's got a little bit more strength behind it as well. So it double edges, it's kind of a marketing material, but also gives that little bit of extra strength. Obviously you're paying the premium for the product, but you don't really want to be leaving it till the 1st of November to buy your supplies, right? Because you won't have time. You'll be flying out the door with parcels, all those sort of things. And there's an opportunity that someone else comes into the market and goes, hey, look, I need 500 bubble mailers in that color, and then all of a sudden that stockist doesn't have it anymore. So then you're running the risk of paying through the nose for something that you should have pre-planned and all those different things. And like I said, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you shouldn't have to worry about this if you're a new reseller. So if you're an experienced one, go forth and do whatever you want to do. You know how the systems works. I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs, but what it comes down to is I can't stress enough. Like, if you're a new reseller, I don't want to see you until January. Keep watching. Yeah, we're quite entertaining if we do so.
We are. And look, by January, you might have learned enough of us to actually make a good go of it, really.
Yeah, and by January, we might have learned how to use this software. So we're actually, we're recording when we're actually talking. So
that's right. You might have some pretty ticker tape going along the bottom, or some other little background things flashing up. You never know what might happen.
Right. Well, I suppose leading into our world domination on YouTube, because now we're arch nemesis of Harry Tornado. He initiated that, by the way, not us. I suppose we better talk about our 250 subscriber live Q&A that we've got coming up.
Yes.
So I better give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to check the date, because obviously talking about being proactive and pre-prepared.
Yes, you better double check.
I don't do it, but it will be not that, because it's not telling me. Give me 2 seconds. Hopefully I'm still on screen. Come on. There we go. This is why Granny normally takes care of things behind the scenes, because she knows what's going on.
Well, look, perhaps we'll have a chat afterwards, and we can double check it afterwards.
So it's going to be the 10th of September.
Right, so the 10th of September. Very good.
Uncle Wayno's time slot of 8 p.m., but we'll do it a little bit different at Granny. I think we'll do it at 8 p.m. So 20.
I think that would be a very good time to do it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So we'll do it 8:08 p.m.
Yes. Yes.
So then all that stuff, and further to that, we're on the 9th of September. We're starting the my solo event, which is Octo's 8 at 8. So I'll have a special guest reseller in, and we will list 8 items in an hour. So once the hour clicks over, the podcast, the live ends. So we might be mid-sentence, we might be, mid-fighting or, mid something, and it will actually automatically cut off. So, like I said, we're racing against the clock. So we're going to see if we can do 8 listings in an hour against.
Right.
So this segment's stolen from SSK promo. So Ken does Ken versus 10. Have a look on his channel if you're that way inclined. So he basically gets a reseller in. They do 10 listings between a certain period of time. I think it's about an hour or 2 hours. They talk a bit about among themselves. Then they do like a tally through the week to see who actually wins by selling the most items through that week. So the 10 items they've listed, they see who sold the most. So
out of with your 8 items, so you just decide which 8 items you're going to list, or are you going to make some rules about that?
So initially, it's just going to be like dealer's choice. So the first, whilst we work out the kinks, so the first guest will just have 8 items that they like, the niche that they select.
Yep.
But then we might actually, depending on that situation, like I said, I don't necessarily want to disadvantage our guests. So I don't want to say, hey, you have to list 8 yellow items or 8 things under 8 centimeters or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
But we probably will have certain themes, closer to the holiday periods or something like that. We might
that might be a bit of fun.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, obviously we want to encourage people coming on because people don't want to look at my handsome mug for an hour. So I do want some people on, but because it's nighttime, I'm going to give them some concessions that they can bring their photos
okay.
So basically, obviously,
that was going to be my next question.
I use natural light for my photography, so obviously I can't take many photos at night time, and no one wants to see an 8-foot octopus taking photos for an hour. So that's exactly right. Apart from disadvantaged as well, right? Like I've got a ton with tentacles. Like you people have got fingers. So like I said, it'll be just a growing pains probably for the first and 2 episodes until I can watch a couple more Ken versus 10 just to steal his format, then claim it as my own and say that he ripped off us. But yeah, so basically that's what it is. And I'm thinking that I've got a reseller in mind for the first week. So poor Granny, she's going to have a bit of a hiatus. So you're more than welcome to jump in later, but it's not a Granny and Octo show.
Yes, no, it's not a Granny and Octo show. It's an Octo show.
But
and just as Octo is going to go off and do his own thing every now and again, and Granny's going to go off and do a live every now and again. Yes. And it'll be good.
Yeah, so we're renegotiating Granny's contract, so she mightn't be here next month. We might have invited a newer model to roll in. But like I said, Granny will.
That'll be your downfall if you get a
crash and burn,
younger model.
Crash and burn, or fly to the moon. We haven't worked out which one yet.
I'm sure it'll be pretty easy to get a younger model.
But yeah, like I said, the Granny will be coming on. Hopefully, she's available as one of the contestants. And we'll probably use a carbon copy of the Ken versus 10 model where we will have like regular updates through the week of how many of those items are sold, and we might just make it from Saturday to Friday evening or something like that. And that the person that sold the most items of those products through that week will be the winner. Always be me. I'll rig the system. I think that should be good. Like we've got a little bit of interest. What else are you doing? What else are you doing?
Well, it was the map just suddenly all of a sudden curled up into, like a.
See, you need to get a priest in your house and do a bit of
think so. A bit of sage. I might have to burn a bit of sage around. I think
something's hanging around there. You might need Mountain Man treasure. He does a bit of a paranormal channel as well.
Okay.
But going back to what I was saying is that we're gonna, because we have had some interest in the accountability hour that we run on a Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're there, or it's for me to scream at you. But obviously that's not achievable for everyone, right? So basically, we're rolling out at this stage a weekly Saturday night show, and it won't be on hard and fast every Saturday night, because obviously the Octopus has got some world domination plans to do, but more often than not, like 8 out of 9 times it will be on. It won't be like an Uncle Wayno special where it's around every 6 months. But yeah, like I said, that there will be also an accountability hour, so you're more than welcome to bring your own photos in there and do listings as well, and you can participate from that one. Like, I probably won't open up StreamYard for that night, because it'd be just obviously between the guest and I. But that guest is not limited to YouTube people. But if you're brand new to you shouldn't be brand new to the reselling stage. But if you've been doing reselling,
that would kind of defeat all that we've already said previously.
Right. Me flapping my arms around like a disgruntled octopus, or tentacles, apologies. So basically, anyone can come in. So it's not just isolated to people that you've seen before. So like the Octopus doesn't judge people; he hates everyone equally. So by all means, you can jump in, and like international people are more than welcome to jump in, and we can do a different thing like that. So and like I said, that we'll just pre-plan that and work that out from a perspective. But that's pretty much the Octo 8 at 8. That's how we're going to roll it at this stage. And like I said, it'll just mature and obviously tinkered as we go along. So.
Oh, look, nothing like a good bit of competition.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, especially when it's rigged in my favour.
We'll see.
Before we close out, Granny, what's happening for you for the next week?
So I just wanted to have a quick shout out at the moment, actually, to two lovely ladies that I know. So Marilyn, that quite often comes and sees us in our lives, who's not very well at the moment. So Marilyn, I hope your things start to pick up a bit soon. Which will be good. And the other person I want to give a quick shout out to is Wendy, who is also not feeling very well, but is recovering quite well from some surgery. So she'll be watching.
Oh, that's
as
good.
she's recovering.
I'm glad you're yelling at all the people in the nursing home that you can see.
hello.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. That crazy lady in the corner talking to herself again. They probably don't believe you're talking to an octopus, do they?
Well, actually, because that's the thing. You see, I'm in the storage closet, the cleaning closet. This is what they let me have for my little studio.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and storage.
You just tell the nurses on a Thursday that you're going to go talk to the octopus right now, and they're like, "Yes, dear, off you go. Here's your meds, and off you go."
Yeah, exactly. And they, they passed around the hat for everyone to put in, a few cents so they could buy me my $17 microphone, and so it's been the community is very supportive.
Well, that's right. Well, obviously the microphone's better quality than what I've got. That's paid $200 for. But,
would you like to? I can tell you which discount store I bought it from. If you like,
I can imagine it became up. But any videos coming out this week from the Grumpy Granny channel?
Yes, there will be. There will be one tonight, actually. Yes,
very good.
Yes, I have a few bit of plans for this afternoon, which will be finishing off that one, which will be coming out later this evening. Probably about the time that John the Reseller's little, live stream is about to start. That'll be when it coincides to be released.
Yes.
And then also there'll be, hopefully from now on, most of the time there'll be another video on a Tuesday. In the evening.
Like Granny does this out of the love of loneliness, I suppose. But make sure that you jump onto her channel and her Instagram, give her a follow, give her a like, give her a subscribe, because she does devote herself. We're not monetized, and we're not running a Patreon or memberships or anything like that, because we don't believe in it until we get to 1,000. We're going to charge for the nose. We don't get donuts. But but like I said, Granny does it for for obviously for no better reason than just to annoy me. So make sure that you do reach out to her and give her the thanks that's due, like a subscribe and a like and a follow. So,
and look, I have had a bit of a request to do a Friday night live at the G, so Friday night live at Granny's. Which is going to be just a little bit of a chit chat. I'm not sure about the Friday night thing, but people wanted it on the, so they could relax and not have to worry about work the next day, because it was going to be like a bit of a drink and chitty chat thing. I'm not sure.
Maybe on the grapes is Granny. There you go.
It may happen tomorrow night, so just keep an eye out.
Yeah, call it on the grapes is Granny.
Yeah, on the grapes with Granny. Yeah,
you just have a whole bunch of old ladies drunk and rolling around on the floor, talking about how tall they are. But
I have to organise a few things and make sure that I'm allowed to have the storage room key.
That's right. Well, you make sure you do. But for everyone else that's playing at home, we bid you adieu, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Hooroo.
I've had some Botox ready. I can't control myself. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.